Okay, guys, welcome to Gearing Up, and joining with us in the studio is Kenneth. He is a guitarist from Mothflesh and has been in the music industry in Malaysia for quite a while now. So, Kenneth, why don't
Yes.
you give us a bit of an introduction about how you started in music, your
How I
first
started
instruments
music.
and your first bands and whatnot?
Okay. So if we were to take a whole flashback right now, I think the first time I got exposed to guitar was my mom just asked me like, "Do you wanna play guitar?" I'm like, "Okay." So my uncle gave me lessons
Nice.
and just learned basic chords. And then I played in church. Played in church for a long while. I was in the church band. We were in the youth band as well. So that was about I think I started learning. My mom bought the guitar in 2003.
Okay.
Okay, I remember because I wasn't even in the guitar store, right? My uncle was there, and then I blew my meniscus on my knee, so I couldn't walk. So I just sat in the car, and my mom, dad, and my uncle just went and bought the guitar and came back
Right.
down. I got a few lessons from him. I got bored, and then I didn't really play the guitar for a year.
Okay.
And then in 2004, the church was like, "Hey, we're doing free guitar lessons." So I
Nice.
figured, like, what the hell? Let's just
Might as well,
bring,
right?
yeah, just bring the
try
guitar
it,
there
yeah.
and just strum about.
Right.
And I started strumming, and I could strum. I could change chords.
Nice.
I was pretty quick at it. And then I joined the church band and everything. And then my friend gave me first he gave me a Creed CD. It was Creed's second album, the Human Clay album.
Okay.
I was like, "Whoa, what's this, man? What's this? Who's Mark Tremonti and all this?" So I got like, "Wow, I didn't know a guitar can sound like that." And then he gave me a Led Zeppelin cassette. It was the BBC Sessions
Ooh.
cassette. Then I was listening to
So the live sessions.
Yeah, so I'm like, "Holy shit, what's this?" I didn't know guitar could sound like because he played electric.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page. He played acoustic. He played slide. He did so many things with the guitar, and it all sounded like insane. So
For its time, it was crazy.
for
Just
it, for
never-
yeah, and for a young teenage kid who was like, didn't know much about guitar. I was so easily influenced by, all these new tones and sounds I'm listening to. So it went from there, and then I got my electric guitar in 2005, December 2005,
Okay.
and I just started with all the grunge and punk rock stuff.
Nice. So what were these bands, grunge
So,
and punk? So you went
I
from Led
remember-
Zeppelin and then...
So in high school, that time I remember everyone was listening to Nirvana.
Okay.
At that point.
Yep.
So and they were simple to learn. Green Day, Weezer, all this kind of stuff. So we were just learning this, jamming in the studio, and it just escalated from there. It just
Okay.
kept getting heavier.
Right.
So it went to like Metallica, and then discovering Iron Maiden, and then later on discovering Lamb of God, and then Periphery. So it just
So you went down like the heavier rabbit hole.
yeah, correct.
Okay.
So like Opeth and everything, it just kept escalating.
This
and,
is the old Opeth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So the first album I heard was Blackwater Park.
Nice.
So I was like, holy
Yeah.
cow, what is this? And then
13 minutes of metal.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was into the whole progressive thing at that point also.
Okay.
Dream Theater, Between the Buried and Me, and then and then now it's like taking a complete turn. So I'm not listening to metal anymore. It's like I'm listening to blues rock,
Okay.
so on and so forth. So yeah, that's how I started with guitar, I guess. Yep.
Okay, so you started off, in church and you kind of just got
Mhm.
into it. But did you really like it? You had a passion for it after learning for a
Yeah,
while?
yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a great bunch of people who I enjoyed playing with,
Nice.
which I think was the key. Because whenever I did not enjoy who I was playing with, that's when I kind of like started backing off.
Okay.
And then when I came to the city, KL, the same guys I played with back in my hometown,
Yeah.
they were the same guys who like, hey, they're also here, and they were with the church band.
Oh.
Then finally, when I arrived here, they're like, hey, come over and just join the
Nice.
group.
Okay, so part
Yeah.
of your journey, I guess, is just having good people around you
Yeah.
to kind of boost you up a little. It's a bit
Yeah.
more motivating that way.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
nice.
Yep.
And were you in any bands throughout this period of
No, not really. I was in this project with a friend of mine. I don't want to say the name of the band,
Okay.
but that was very short lived. Performed a few times.
Yeah.
Did not enjoy being with the band members.
I see.
Yeah, I left the band via the WhatsApp group. I'm like,
Oh,
guys,
my.
I'm out. Adios, amigos. I'm like,
Just like
goodbye.
that.
Just like that. Yeah. And then I was studying.
Mhm.
I dropped out. I joined a guitar store. I worked there called Amplitude Music. And then there was a guy who came there all the time because he bought his stuff there,
Yeah.
changed his strings, whatever. And then he started noticing that I could play guitar.
Yeah.
And he was in the pub scene. So that guy, his name is, they call him Jibeng. He's in the band Hydra. So he had a friend, a drummer, Pai, who played for Surge previously. So he was forming a band, and he was like, hey, you want to try this brand new guy? You know, I didn't know shit. I don't know all the top 40s because I was not that kind of a player.
Right.
I only listened to rock and all the other heavier stuff.
Yeah, and you can't play that in a pub, you know. Something's gonna go wrong, yeah.
So he brought me along, met this guy, and then that's where my journey playing in the pop scene began after that.
It's kind of like a sessionist sort of thing, just whenever you got gigs.
So I would play in pubs like maybe 3 nights a week, you know, every week. So yeah, it was a consistent thing. So I had my day job. By then I was ready with Music Bliss. I really left Amplitude Music.
Okay.
And so that's the day job, and then at night we do this.
Pub gigs.
Yeah, just rock and roll. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So how did that eventually convert into you joining maybe your first actual band?
Okay, so from there, somewhere in between there, another guy, Ranvay, shout out Ranvay Singh out there. So he formed a band called Imperial Decimation, and he was looking for band members to be in the project, you know, write and record and whatnot. So that was my first venture into an actual band, you know, an actual like songwriting and recording the songs and whatnot. And I actually also remember that I was not into the music so much at that particular point in time.
What was the genre of
so it was like, I guess you could say technical death metal.
Okay.
Or technical groove death metal. Whatever you want to coin whatever term, go ahead. So I remember I just helped to like co-write like 1 song or 2 songs on that album. It was an EP, sorry, it was not an album. And then there was a recording session, which I only recorded on 2 songs because I remember like deadline was, he only booked like 2 days. The next day I was working, so I couldn't stay for the rest of the recording session or whatever. Okay. So yeah, and I decided I wanted to join the project because like I didn't have anything going on in my career at that point. So I figured like, hey, why not join a band like this and do something, you know, while I'm here. So that project was there. And then later on, Ranvay joined Mothflesh, as most of us know. Yep. And they were looking for a second guitarist to play live. So that's where he gave me a call, and I said, okay, sure, why not?
Was death metal or heavy metal your thing at this point, or?
Not my thing, but I wanted something to keep my chops up.
Okay, so
you know, I have all these metal chops, but I'm not using it anywhere, so I figured I would do more.
I'm gonna expend it somewhere, like might as well be in.
Yeah, so at that point in time, I was like, I just want to be the live session player. Okay, you know, nothing else.
Were you ever involved in the songwriting or?
No, not at all. So they already released the album, but they needed someone to back up, you know, be the second guitar player because there's so many layers of you know, whatever they did on that album. So I said, okay, fine, I'll do all the live shows, right? You guys handle whatever writing, recording, whatever. I'll just do the live stuff.
Okay.
And then eventually Ranvay left, and it was left with me. And then the guy was like, "Hey, you wanna be in the band?" All right, let's go. Sure, why not? So yeah, that's where I am at this point.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. All right. So at the moment right now, are you ever involved in anything more than just live shows? You know, do you have a say on the direction or whatnot?
We are planning to write some new stuff. We have some stuff, but we have not really settled on the arrangement and things like that. So yeah, it's a group effort, I would say. Okay. Yeah, shout out to all the rest. Imran, Akin, Mat, yeah, great guys.
Nice,
so, yeah.
Nice. Okay. And also like on the note of Mothflesh, right? You know, these are genres that you weren't initially too keen to join. What are the influences musically from Mothflesh? Like which bands do they take from and whatnot?
Oh gosh. What bands do they take from? Like when Easy was around, shout out to Easy, the ex-bassist of Mothflesh, he listened to a lot of weird stuff. Stuff that I didn't listen to. So he listened to a band called like Car Bombs and whatnot.
Yes.
So he was so influenced by that one. So before he left, we wrote a bunch of songs, and he drew so much influence from that the songs kind of like took a similar pattern in the sense that they were like 10,000 parts in one 3-minute song. So, other than that, you know, I kind of pull from a lot of bands that they are rock or metal, but they have a memorable chorus you can actually like Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
you know, or Creed or
You know
Tremonti's.
exactly when the chorus kicks in. It's a very
Yeah.
simple song structure, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm into that kind of a song structure instead of
Okay.
the whole progressive
Right.
rock or metal thing. So in the new things that we're writing right now, it's like, you know, the things we look for is like maybe a great riff, a hook, you know, something
Yeah.
that's bouncy.
Okay.
You know, people can actually groove to the time signature as opposed to some
Nice.
progressive stuff where like I don't know where to nod, I don't know.
Where's
what
the
to
first
do.
beat?
Yeah,
Okay.
where's the one? Damn it! Why is it coming on the end? One end. Why is it on the end? You know, that kind of stuff. So and then in the new stuff, a lot of riffs are written by Raken actually, the drummer.
Nice. Okay.
So we just assist in rearranging things, and I will probably write most of the choruses there.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'll put
Okay.
the chords wherever I can put the chords. So yeah.
All right, so Kenneth, you've got an entirely new guitar with you right here.
Yep.
And tell us a bit about your effects board too.
Sure. This is a new Les Paul I got this year, earlier in the year. I think like March or April. It's a Les Paul Standard 50s with P90 pickups.
Nice.
So for those who don't know what is a P90, a P90 is kind of like, it's in between a humbucker and a single coil, kind of, you know.
Okay.
So you kind of get that output of a humbucker, but you do get the detail of a single coil, and you also get the noise of a single coil. So you will have that kind of hum. So if I go to high gain channel, you could use a noise suppressor and kind of like get rid of that, but
Yeah.
it's not rock and roll, you know. I don't use noise. I don't use noise suppressors and stuff. So anyway, I'm plugged into a Fractal AX8. So this is the
Nice.
multi effects unit which I got into after I got tired of lugging around a trolley with my amp, cab, pedals, and shit like that, and soundman not being able to mic up cabinets. So
Right.
I got this used, and it has been a life savior for a lot of gigs, because it's convenient. Just drag it in one bag, stuff like
Okay.
that. And I can send a signal direct to the board, which is what we are doing right now. It's going
Yep.
into the mixer. It's also going into the amp, just as a monitor for me.
Yeah.
So through the mixer there is a cab simulation, and through the cab there's no cab simulation. So you can do stuff like that. So anyway, this is the patch that I just made sometime in the middle of this year. I just got tired of my previous patch, and
Okay.
I wanted something fresh, and I wanted something without a clean tone.
Oh,
So again-
just don't have a clean tone at all.
So I would use just the volume knob on the guitar.
just to get your clean tone. So
Yeah.
that's like your switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for example, if I were to open up this volume knob all the way, it's gonna sound like that. Again with the two delay thing. But
Okay.
yeah, I just wanted something that would sound like that. So anyway, let me remove the delay,
Sure.
and we can demo a little bit of how these single coils, these P90s, sound like single coils. So for example, full up. It's a very single coil kind of tone.
Right.
There's a saying out there that a good Les Paul should sound like a Telecaster on steroids.
Really?
So that's
Okay.
what I kind of look for when I get a P90 guitar like this. So it needs to sound like a Telecaster on steroids. But if I were to pile on some gain, and that's not it. That's the wrong button. Oh yeah, that is the right button. Anyway, if I pile on some gain and I just roll back this tone knob here, I'm still gonna get tons of gain on this guitar. So
It's
yeah.
a bit of a kill switch there.
Yes, quite handy. Here's a fun story. When I was playing at this venue called Soju in Sunway,
Yeah.
the stage equipment all were absolute rubbish, right? It was a horrible amp, and I had my vocal mic, and it had wedges right there, right?
Right.
And I had to feed my guitar sound into the wedges as well. I was using P90s they're noisy, as you hear. You know, you got that buzz over there. So I remember that whenever I was not playing and you had the volume knob up, it would feedback, right? Because of how the monitor wedges were positioned and stuff like that. So I remember I used to play like Highway to Hell, AC/DC.
Yeah.
Right? So you got that. But
those spaces in between.
You hear the space. You'd have that, right? So what I used to do was I would roll back this one volume knob, right? And I would go. So I would be flicking that switch.
So that's like your mute right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, that's one of the challenges when you play with such guitars with high gain and they're noisy. You gotta kind of learn to control them. So anyway, that's some of the tones on this. There's not much variety in that sense in this current patch because it's just more and more gain in each stage. So it's like this is a little more gain and delay. This is more gain. This is this is gain with more gain and delay and a solo boost.
This is your triple gain.
Yeah, so this is what I solo with.
It's a very airy, bright sound.
Yeah. Okay. So the cut through whenever I'm doing all this blistering solo stuff.
In which settings were you going to be using the highest gain setting? Is this usually with Mothflesh when you're playing metal, or?
This is this quite a versatile patch, I would say. I use it with any
so
like Sweet Child of Mine or that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is the amount of gain I kind of play with. So I do dial in quite a lot of gain, but I tend to always control it with the volume knob on the guitar. So if I needed less gain on the tone, I will just roll it back. That's it. Just roll it back. I would also pluck much lighter, so that it could be the same tone, but the harder you pluck, there's more gain pops out, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry for the hiccup, but yeah,
no worries. Yeah,
that's the tone, man. Let's try and go back to a tone where I used to use during the pub days, but I don't know how it'll sound through the board. So for my pub patches, I had a pure clean tone. Right, with a touch of reverb. So this was that tone. I've never used it with this guitar before, so it's interesting.
Okay, and when you were in those pub scenes, were you playing like top 40 songs? Or,
yeah.
Some of the old stuff?
Yeah, so like, maybe some funk stuff like... I don't know, like some Lionel Richie. If I wanted to spice that up, I had the choice of adding a lot of different effects. So this is with some chorus. If I wanted, I can combine it with some flanger. If I wanted to, I could use it with phaser instead.
From what I can tell from your effects board, you got a lot of really versatile things you can play with. But with that clean tone, is that something that you've always kind of kept on with in the pub scene? Like, there's one thing that you've always just used throughout?
Yes.
Okay.
I always made sure that in that preset,
Yeah.
it had everything I wanted. So like just now you heard like a chorus, there was a flanger, there was a phaser, there was a tremolo. And again, I have that gain stacking thing, which I had in the earlier preset. So if I were to go to the next scene right here, it's basically with a little overdrive. And if I needed to use that same tone but I needed it louder, I'd have a solo patch with that tone. And then if I wanted more gain, so this is what I would use with all the heavier sounding stuff. So you had to play like, you know. Haha, heavy. But yeah, on top of that, so I'd also have that same sound but with a chorus effect instead, because sometimes you need that chorus to kind of give you the effect of having two guitars. So it sounds something like this. Kind of just increases the stereo.
Yeah, it's kind of like layering, I guess, when you're on stage.
And then again, something with a lot of gain and a solo boost. So yeah.
Nice. Great.
That's the Axe effects. It's capable of so much more, but that's all I pretty much.
And when you built both when you patched your effects board and also your pedal board, what did you have in mind? Like is this for like a stage compatible sort of thing for your career, or?
It was a stage compatible thing, and to make sure that it fit in the mix with the band.
Okay.
Right. So that just takes years of experience of always dialing in tones and eventually developing an ear to know like, okay, this will probably not fit in the mix, this might fit in the mix, and of course lots of mid-range in the tone as well to cut through. So yeah, and with this particular patch I was just thinking that I needed every possible tone in one preset, because I hate changing presets.
Right.
You know, I just want to stay in this one preset and then I pull out all those different tones with it. And then with that latest tone that I was playing with earlier, which number is that? Number 7, yeah. So with this, I just wanted to change things up, have something that's a bit more of my favorite sort of effects. Just that. I didn't need all the different tones or whatever. I just wanted something more simple and something that I would require me to control the guitar even more. So I'd have to use these controls even more to get the clean tone and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Nice.
That's that.
Okay, so that way I see you're using your volume knobs a lot, and most of the functions of the guitar are actually to change your tone.
Yeah.
Did you want to have more control in the instrument rather than put it onto the board?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think as the years go by, the more that I play, I kind of find that I just wanted to make things difficult for myself. That's it. I just want to make shit difficult. Like, you know, I could get a noise suppressor and play fucking Highway to Hell just like that. But no! I got to turn off one volume knob and do stuff with that. I just want to make things challenging for myself.
I mean, it looks flashy, and when you explain it to people, it sounds pretty cool. But
you know?
Is it convenient though? Like,
and also, I'm not the type to like, if I play something and it's too easy to play, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's just not fulfilling.
Yeah, so like, another thing why I picked the Fractal was because that there are some multi-effects unit out there that has too much compression built in. Right? So I think Boss multi-effects are alright. The compression level is okay. but I still prefer the tones of the Fractal over the Boss. But again, for like line 6, holy shit, this is a line 6 hating video. When I played the Helix and the Pod Go, I find that my playing was too easy. So that
you already achieve what you wanted.
It gives me a hint that the natural compression of the unit is too high.
Yeah.
So I stay away from that.
Yeah. That's like an active choice though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I got what I wanted too quickly.
Yeah.
This is not, you know, this is not the route.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I practice, I take the same mentality where I don't turn on compression, the gain is not as high, so I make things difficult during practice.
Okay.
But when I dial in things for live, I make it easy.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I would put a compressor effect into these. Yeah. When I play live.
Okay. So you're
But
trying to.
I don't want to make it too easy to the point like that line. Like I said, the line 16 is like shit, man. The legato is like flying. I'm like, no. This is not me.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you want to make sure that your practice is kind of rough too. So when you're actually doing the like, you know, the easier stuff on stage, when you're actually giving yourself access to something easier, you can play way better. Because you've always been practicing with something much more difficult.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. Yeah,
So that's the goal.
Would you say that's a good tip for people who want to, you know, get into performing and whatnot and practicing?
Yeah, practicing. Well, this is just my philosophy. I just want to make it difficult, purposely difficult while I'm at home. It's like, you know, it's like a guy who runs a 100-meter sprint, right? He doesn't train 100 meters all the time, right? I'm sure he has different parts of his training where he does the endurance thing. He would sprint maybe 300 or 400 meters instead of training to sprint 100 meters. Yeah. Because if you can do sprinting for 300-400 meters with ease, then the 100 meter is just,
no problem.
Yeah. So that's the same concept I bring to practicing guitar.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all from the effects board?
That is all from the effects board.
Okay. I think lastly, we have one more special guest actually. There's this guitar you've been holding for the first few 30 minutes of the conversation, and I think it's about time we take a look at it.
About time we switched it to that. That's an interesting guitar.
Yeah. All right, so Kenneth, come on, let's take a look at the Keisel. Keisel, sorry.
So
yeah.
Let's take a look at this final guitar.
It's a beautiful
that I brought
piece
here today. So Keisel is a company based in USA. So they are fully a custom shop company.
Okay.
And they do not deal with any dealers or distributors. So no middlemen.
Yeah.
So the whole point of why they don't do that is to keep costs down and make it more affordable for people to order a custom guitar.
Nice. Okay.
Some people may have heard of the name Carvin. So it's basically the same company.
Okay.
The original name was Keisel, and then they had a pro audio division, and then they renamed it to Carvin. And then when that division dissolved, they decided, hey, our names are Keisel, so let's use the Keisel name.
Just go and use it again.
Yeah. So they make so many different shapes. It's not just headless guitars like this one. They got a whole range of choices in terms of body shape and width without headstock. But why I chose to get a Keisel was because I was considering a headless guitar, but I didn't want to buy a Strandberg.
Okay.
Because it's a great guitar. I've owned the Strandberg for a short while.
Right.
But I couldn't justify paying the price to get a Strandberg, because for the same price, if you look at it, the Strandberg is made in Indonesia and the Keisel is made in USA, and I get to handpick every single part of the guitar.
Nice.
Right?
Okay.
So it starts with choosing the shape that you want, and this is called the Zues. So this is the Zues headless guitar. And then you pick your body wood. So I picked a mahogany body. Why? Because I play a lot of Les Pauls, right?
Nice.
So Les Pauls, I knew that I liked the whole mahogany tone.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, we're going to go with a mahogany body. And Keisel does this thing where they call it a raw tone finish. So it's not gloss. It is not satin. Let's say it has this very raw feel. You can feel the grain of the wood, actually.
It looks like someone just painted over some wood.
Exactly. And you can still feel it. If you put your fingers through, you can feel the grain of the guitar.
Right.
So I knew I wanted something like that because I always loved the feel of raw wood. Yeah, I love wood.
He's got 10 trees in his backyard. Yeah.
So and I was in a purple phase. So I knew I wanted a purple guitar. Therefore, the purple over here. And then it's a 3-piece neck. It's a walnut, purple heart walnut. Why walnut? Because at that time period, the person with Keisel, Jeff Keisel,
Yep.
the head of the company, he kept on raving about walnut, how it's very close to the tone of mahogany and all that kind of stuff. So I decided, okay, I wanted walnut.
Yeah.
Why 3-piece? Because I like the aesthetic of a 3-piece. A lot of guitars come with 5-piece, 7-piece. I mean, it helps with stability.
Yep.
Instead of having a 1-piece neck, right? So what they do is, if you have a 3-piece neck, you got the grain of the wood running like this way, then the other one is running the opposite way.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
if either or was supposed to bend in one direction, the other one will counter that. Things
Yeah.
like
And
that.
it will kind of just average out and
Yeah.
be fine.
So
right?
I just like the aesthetic of a 3-piece neck. So the middle is a purple heart because it's purple guitar. And the purple heart actually looks like this. So this is a purple heart cavity cover.
Okay.
But as you play purple heart, over the years, you will start to darken
Correct.
more and more.
Yeah.
So you can see like the purple here is quite bright. And if you can see that, then it gets darker because I spend my time here a lot as opposed to up here.
Okay, so it's kind of just wearing down.
Yeah, so you just get darker over time. And then I went with a flame maple fretboard, just for the looks. Yeah, because I wanted something to match the tone of the mahogany
Right.
here. So I figured that having a roasted maple, which will make it darker, would kind of
Match back with the whole body of the guitar. Yeah.
It has gotten darker over time because of all the playing.
Right.
And what else? I picked these pickups from Keisel. They're called lithium pickups. So that's what they make in-house. So I tried those pickups in a guitar that my friend owned. Iskandar, shout out to Iskandar. And it was a very clear and bright sounding pickup.
Right.
And a lot of people online were like complaining how bright it is, and they find it hard to dial a tone and get a nice warm and round tone. So with that in mind, I kind of spec'd out the guitar to kind of counter all of that brightness, right? So I went in mahogany because I figured, hey, Les Paul use mahogany. So I'm guessing that the warmth and depth of tone came from that. I went for a non-gloss top, alright?
Yeah.
This is just my perception on the tone wood and shit like that, okay? So I noticed that when I played certain Les Pauls that were satin versus the one that were gloss, they sounded different. So with the gloss, it had more snap, more brightness, but with the satin or no gloss guitars, it sounded dark and muddy.
Right.
So
yeah.
I went with raw finish, not just because of the feel, but I felt that I didn't want the gloss top.
Yeah.
So to counter the brightness of the
Okay.
pickups. So number one was the body wood. Number two was the coating of the wood. And number three, I went with these frets called Evo Gold frets.
Yeah, they're a little shiny actually.
They're actually gold in color. They're not silver.
Nice. Okay.
Right? So if you notice, the frets are gold. The logo is gold. The pickup poles are gold. So I matched the gold.
Got a really nice finish, I guess.
Yeah.
Like little trims in
So
the guitar.
gold. Anyway, so most guitars are made with nickel frets.
Right.
So nickel frets, they sound great, but they wear down over time. They easily wear down.
Yep. Then
And
you gotta
then
go
you
and replace them and change them.
Yeah, you gotta level them.
Different problem. Yep.
And then you got stainless steel, right? So that pretty much lasts forever. It lasts way more longer than nickel. It doesn't wear down. But I've always hated the tone of stainless steel.
Okay.
I hear it, right? And I hate that with stainless steel, the harder you pluck the guitar, there's a certain ping that comes across that's not pleasant to my ears.
Right.
So when I got this guitar, I figured, I don't want to downgrade to nickel. But Evo Gold frets is kind of like in between.
Okay.
So they last longer than regular nickel frets. They're almost like stainless steel, not exactly the same. And they sound closer to nickel.
Nice. So you have that durability, but you also have that tone that you want to keep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I went for the Evo Gold frets. And
Nice.
what else is there? There's a glow in the dark side dots.
Okay.
You tune the strings with these, and it's a 5-way switch, and that's that. Yep, that's the guitar.
Nice. Beautiful instrument.
Really
so,
nice.
so why did you go for a headless guitar?
I just wanted to experience a headless guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't want to buy a Strandberg. And I think at that point, Ibanez did not come out with their range of headless guitars.
Nah. Yeah.
There were not many affordable headless in the market at that point, so I figured that if I was going to get a headless, I'm going to custom one according to the exact woods and finish that I want. So that's what I did with this one. Yep.
Are there any benefits that you find playing a headless guitar over, a traditional one?
So one is definitely the weight. So weight, the berat guitar though. Huh. If you're a person who has like back issues, shoulder issues, you won't have a headstock like the extra weight of that wood weighing you down. So that's one. Of course, number two, there's no neck dive issues.
Nice.
Right?
Okay.
And what I found is that it's better in terms of tuning stability because there's no wraps around a post, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it's just like that straight cut, right, like that. So I've never had to tune up this guitar so much. It stays in tune very well. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's three of that. So yeah, that's basically that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what kind of strings and what kind of picks are you using usually? This
Okay,
guitar?
so I'm using Elixir strings on this. I use Elixir on all my guitars.
Right.
I used to use the Dario strings, but I wear through strings very fast.
Okay.
So like if I'm playing very consistently, they would last maximum 2 weeks. Maybe if I wipe them down and take care of them extra, then maybe 3 weeks. But by the 4th week, it's dead.
So it's always like under a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I figure with the amount I was spending on normal string, I'll just get coated strings instead.
Okay, something that you just buy one time.
Yep.
But you can keep it on for
Yeah,
much longer.
but it was a very recent change because this is the Elixir OptiWeb strings.
Mm-hmm.
So that before this did not exist. They only had a NanoWeb and a PolyWeb. That's what they call their series, right? So the PolyWeb is the thickest coating. The NanoWeb is lesser, so it feels more natural. But with the PolyWeb and NanoWeb, it's harder to bend the strings.
Right. Yeah.
Because I've been using non-coated for so long that when I went to the Elixir NanoWeb strings, bending was very stiff.
Right.
Yeah. So then they came up with these OptiWeb strings, and they said it felt even more closer to a non-coated set of strings. So when I tried them on, they bent like normal strings.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
because my fingers could not adapt to the NanoWeb and PolyWeb. I was very tired bending the strings. So when they came up with the OptiWeb, I swapped to it. I'm like, okay, this feels more like the regular strings that I use, but they last longer. So that's why I.
So once again, you found the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Can we take a listen on the?
Yeah, let's quickly. So I'm using the X effects again. Let's check out some in-between positions.
Nice.
There you go. That's the guitar.
Damn. Really sweet guitar. And what kind of pick are you running on that?
I'm using this Dunlop Altex Jazz 3. So I remember I was using the Tortex picks a lot back in the day because James Hetfield used the Tortex pick. Therefore, I wanted to use the Tortex pick as well.
Right.
The green one, not the yellow one like Dave Mustaine used. I prefer Hetfield, so I used the green one. And then I remember Mark Tremonti showing in a rig rundown, he used this particular jazz picks, but they were bigger in size and they were black. It was a black nylon Jazz 3 or something. And I swapped to those. And then later on I saw like players were playing this Altex one. Then I'm like, hey, let me try this out. And then I was like, it glides faster
Yeah.
Because the jazz picks in general they glide off the string
Right.
much more easier than the Tortex picks I was using, but it had a nice brightness compared to the regular Jazz 3 material. So I ended up using this Altex Jazz 3, and it's not the XL, it's the tiny one. There are people who question me like, are you using a pick?
Can't even see it. Okay,
yeah,
there
so
you
I
go.
am using a pick, but it's so small, and I've gotten used to this pick so much. So
Nice.
the Altex Jazz 3. And again, I found picks recently that they glide off even faster and they're much easier to play.
Okay.
But again, I don't like anything easy. I like things to be a little bit more difficult. Therefore, Jazz 3.
I came back to you just like that.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Okay, so once again, you brought your philosophy back here. Make it a bit hard. It's what you wanted.
Yes.
But you don't want to make it too convenient.
Exactly. So there's that.
Okay, well, I think we can end it off here. Thank you
Indeed.
very much, Kenneth. We really appreciate you coming down and showing off your beautiful pieces, especially your gear.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. All right, thank you. Do like and subscribe if you enjoy a lot of this content. And we'll catch you your way with more guests coming soon. See ya.
Cheers.